Hey there, everypony, bronies and pegasisters of all ages. Welcome once again to Like a Ditzy Do, a video blog about the My Little Pony collectible card game. I'm your host, the Nate Damn Z. And you know what I've found myself wondering the last few months? Am I actually any good at this game? Now, let me preface this with, I have a history of just losing in general when it comes to board games, card games, video games. Recently I got to go to an Overpower tournament, and while I won 2 matches against very competitive players, those were the only 2 matches that I won. Some of them, I admit, came down to chance, or I made a mistake that, due to the fact that it was a tournament, they had to, penalize me for. But, I held no point illusions that I would actually win. And I play board games with my family. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to come in last. Just like when I play My Little Pony collectible card game, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to lose. But then something interesting happens, like, say, a couple of years back, Crystal Games was the newest set at this point. I got to just a little get-together, show up, play the game, and we'll give you a promo card. I actually defeated the local champion, from the tournament back when there was a local scene here. And that was the first match I'd won that night, too. And yeah, I felt really good, especially once I realized who the guy was. But there are also other factors to consider, namely that he was playing with a deck he had just thrown together that day, and he was experimenting with the fact that Crystal Game was all about trying to make 3 or more color decks viable. So how does that factor into things? Even when I play against friends, it's still hard to gauge, because I still lose most of the time, but I'm getting beaten by my own decks. As of right now, all my friends, whenever I get together to play with them, I just loan them one of my decks. Because one has since started buying cards, but I don't know what he's done all with them yet. But the others, while they enjoy the game, they don't like it enough to invest in it. And, I'm not going to fault them that. So does constantly getting defeated by my own decks mean I'm actually getting good at deck making? I'm also the one who teaches people how to play when I play with them 9 times out of 10. As of right now, there is barely any scene here. I've recently met another guy who said he was looking for someone to play with, but we're both busy adults. I haven't had a chance to see him since. It's also really hard to gauge since I still get hung up on themes sometimes. Primary example is Twilight Sparkle, Friendship is Magic, the big oversized main that came with the Celestial Solstice set. I decided, what the heck, I'm going to make this a 6-color deck, because that just seems like fun. Plus, if I ever get a chance to play multiplayer, I want to go to multiplayer deck. And as I was putting this deck together, I realized I hadn't given any thought about what I wanted to do besides have 6 colors. So I've recently started rethinking it, and again, whenever I get back to deck building again, I'm gonna weed out and try to do things, like have an actual strategy with this deck, which again, I only tend to use if I ever get the chance to play multiplayer, so who knows. But the main thing, right now, I want to play with the promos. I believe they were for Canterlot Knights, where they were the main 6 but off color, and depending on if they were with another main 6, shenanigans happened. I want to play with that mechanic, so I'm going to have, not only am I going to have Twilight Sparkle main 6 colors, I'm going to get as many Applejacks and Pinkie Pies and Fluttershies and Rainbow Dashes and Rarities in there too. Because I just think those cards are fun, and again, that is the point of a game, is to have fun. And that's why most of the time I don't mind that I lose so much, because I genuinely enjoy this game, I genuinely enjoy board games with my family, I genuinely enjoy the mobile games that when I go online to ask advice for, they just say, oh, use the super legendary awesome thing, which I don't have because I haven't been able to obtain it. And I am slowly starting to figure out what I want decks to do, aside from I like this main hangs out with this character, what color best represents this character. Not only am I just trying to work something out with that Twilight Sparkle deck, I dug this out last night, and I really want to get back to it because I was really excited for this one. Fluttershy Reformer, the Fluttershy that negates Troublemaker's abilities. I mentioned fairly recently on social media that I've actually changed my minds on villains, and yeah, it's because of that main. What I want this deck to be able to do is cancel out the villain, or whichever word causes the frightened condition, and whatever nasty effect the villain would do, and then try to defeat them themselves, and score points that way. Initially, part of me regrets trading away that extra Green Chrysalis I had, but I got an Alpha Print Nightmare Moon for it, so... So, in that vein, not only do I have Fluttershy and trying to include the various power-up cards, tokens and whatnot, but I also have some blue and pink cards, specifically ones that affect troublemakers. Some of it's pretty basic, like I have 3 Flitters in there, because she gets +1 during face-offs, and blue has that whole competitive thing going on. That deck is still incomplete, namely because as of now I don't have any extra villains to put in it. I might have a Starlight Glimmer, I don't remember. But still, that is something, and while that will not win me any tournaments, I think it's a fairly decent strategy. If nothing else, it will be fun. So, personally, I think I'm okay, but I am trying to learn and I am trying to get better, and speaking from a bigger picture perspective, that's not a bad thing. Again, about a year ago, I think, I had a personal revelation that part of the reason why I enjoy CCG so much is that I can almost feel my brain working. I can feel my brain trying to figure out strategy while I play. My brain trying to figure out strategy while I play, seeing the connections in cards. Okay, this card is supposed to interact with this card, and that causes this effect. And it makes me feel smart. And as someone who has spent most of their life really and truly believing that they were stupid, yeah, I'm gonna cling on to that. I'm gonna hold on to that. And again, going back to the question of my skill, I came to this realization the 4th time someone tried to teach me magic. Well, I think between this teacher just being better than some of the other ones and all the other times, things started finally to connect. And while I lost, I only lost by 2 points. And again, it was just, I remember just seeing the clicks. Okay, I'm still figuring out how to play this card. If I play this one first and this one next, I will do something awesome. This isn't meant to beat myself up and say I am terrible. This is just something I find myself wondering about, as I am wont to do with my wandering mind. If I ever make it to a PonyCon, I really hope I can get in some friendly games and just see how I do. I hold no... while part of me would like to participate in a tournament at some point, I hold no illusions of making it even to the top 5, or however tournaments are divided. I just want to say I did it. And, bonus if I could say at least I held my own. What about you guys? Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Did you really suck at the game at first and found a resource to help you build better strategies? Do you want to challenge me to a duel? Stuff to ponder. Anyway, I am the Nate Dam Z, and I am going to go through some of my started decks and try to remember what I was going to do with those, or think of a strategy for them, maybe for the first time. Like a Ditzy do.